I just lost Dan. What just happened? Can't get through a recording session without one of these things happening. It's lovely. Lord. I'm still standing. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes. I don't know how the song goes. Daniel, can you hear me? Dan Tom May. Ow. Falling to shit. Are you alive?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, do I. Confusing.
That was weird.
Back on speaker. Now you're in my headphones.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Beautiful. Forget what I was saying.
Forget two. Wasn't it about Matt Patricia or something?
Three, two, one.
18, 17, 69.
Oh. Everything about you is terrible.
Welcome to the Pack You Run podcast. I am your host, Dan Mayotte. We are back for the second week in a row after missing an extended period of time. I am joined with my co-host,
Boo Radley.
Bradley. Boo Radley?
Boo Radley. That's
Yeah, AJ decided not to join us. He's gone now.
I am the old man that doesn't actually live in your apartment building, but is somehow on your co-op board. A dumb joke, and it's also not my joke, so we'll just move right along.
I mean, it's kind of like what Jeff Bezos is planning to do now with his time, stepping down as CEO.
Wait, is he really?
Yeah, that got announced like a few hours ago.
That's wild.
Now he's now he's on the board.
That's insane. I just started watching Silicon Valley again this week, so like tech stuff has been very top of mind for me. I actually finally outfitted my room with smart lights. I think we talked about that a little bit last week too. Yeah, so I have smart lights in my room that I can control with my phone, and I don't have to feel like the oppressive overhead lighting is threatening to consume me on my days off from work.
That's true.
That's insane,
that's
though.
Real.
Jeff Bezos is actually stepping down?
Yeah, he's stepping down as CEO.
Do you think he's going to go like the Bill Gates route? Do you think he's just going to dedicate his life to charity, or is he just going to be like a weirdo like Elon Musk?
I don't know. I mean...
Tech guys amaze me because on the one hand, they're like, I love the personalities. People like Steve Jobs or like a Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Jack from Twitter, like Mark Zuckerberg. They're super, super interesting to me as like people because I don't quite get them.
Well,
but in the like on the
Mark Zuckerberg is just a robot.
That's true. Exactly. Like that's such a weird like character trait, and yet like the flip side of that coin is that they are across the board all infuriating human beings.
Well, I'm pretty sure, and don't quote me on this, and someone can look this up. Like, I'm pretty sure Jeff Bezos started on Wall Street, and that's where like he got most of his money at the beginning, and then started Amazon with like selling books and other goods and services.
What if we took Barnes and Noble and put it on the internet, and then bought the internet and became an oppressive capitalist force?
I mean, we all give him money. So, like, we're all part of the problem, like, feeding his greed.
I'm 99% sure that our podcast is hosted on Amazon Web Services. It's a pretty safe bet. So, shout out to... I'm not sure I can say his name legally. Shout out to friends of mine who work for Amazon in the AWS division. Love your work. Thanks for giving us the internet.
We love you.
Kind of.
I mean, we appreciate you. We don't maybe not appreciate... you know what? We're just not going to say anything bad here. We're going to be positive today for once.
We're gonna try and err on the side of positivity and not get shadow banned.
Well, I doubt it. I mean, we're pretty small as it is.
Yeah, we don't... Our hot takes are mostly sports related, so I think we'll be okay.
Right. Right. Speaking of sports, we're going to get into talking about some of that. We're going to talk about our Super Bowl predictions, as well as big trade happened over the weekend with Matthew Stafford going over to the Los Angeles Rams for a couple first-round picks and Jared Goofball.
Jared Goofball. That's a great way to describe him, Jared Goofball.
I can't even take credit for that joke. I've definitely heard it around on other like videos and other people saying that.
I love his depiction in the Gridiron Heights little webisodes that they post on Instagram, where he's like a surfer, I guess. I mean, it's fitting because LA Chargers, but he just...
It makes sense. Not LA Chargers, LA Rams.
LA Rams,
but,
my bad.
I mean, he's from California. He went to school in California, and got drafted by a California team, so...
Yeah.
Now he's in Detroit.
You have to wonder, what must it be like to be like a warm weather team kind of guy, and then to be basically forced into, like, if you want to keep your job, if you want to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, you can play in Detroit or nothing.
Well, I mean, at least with Detroit, you're inside for the games, which that's good. But like, then you also have to face the Green Bay Packers, which literally one of the coldest places you can play.
Lambeau.
And also, Lambeau. And also the Bears are in your division at Soldier Field. Tom Brady came out and was like, yeah, never moving back to New England, like after like moving down to Florida, which
I really, I mean, I'm starting to feel this way about the internet as a whole. It's getting really taxing. Twitter and Instagram and everything is just slowly but surely making me angrier as a person. But on that note, I'm getting more and more fed up with Boston and national sports media talking about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Like every time I think I've hit my limit, I see another headline that makes me think like, oh man, like who said what now? What's going to happen? What are the hot takes? And it's always like Tom Brady rips Bill Belichick and says he's never coming back to New England. That's the headline. And then you read it and he's just like, yeah, I enjoy the warm weather. Can't see myself going back up there besides to play games like this.
Right.
And the comments sections are always hilarious too, because it's a bunch of people getting big mad about it. And it's like, what part of any of this was like actually sensational to you?
Let's circle that away. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, but let's talk about what we're drinking tonight.
Yeah, we got to stick with tradition, don't we? Oh, that was a nice crack.
We do. We can't just go off the rails.
I mean, we can, and we have.
I mean, that is true. That is very true.
I will let you start off, my good sir.
All right. Well, I was going down to my local store, my Packy store, called Chansky's Market, and I wanted to switch it up a little bit. So I got a 4-pack of Dorchester Brewing Company Parish Pilsner. First time trying it right here, and it's pretty good.
Parish Pilsner?
I would Parish Pilsner.
Like a church parish?
Yeah.
I was just going to make a joke about Dorchester and say, okay, they have a brewery and I'm pretty sure they have a church. Is that it?
Probably. I mean,
apparently
I'm showing AJ right here.
Is the brewery in the parish?
I'm showing AJ what it is, but
that checks out for a suburb of Boston.
I mean, that does check out.
That logic makes sense. I'm following that math.
Like Roman Catholics, Irish people, breweries, drunk. Yeah.
They're in the basement of the church brewing beer and singing "Oh, Danny Boy."
Yeah, and other Christian tunes where Skillet plays an Under Oath.
Oh no. Skillet that blindsided me. I forgot that was a band.
Yeah, Christian band. Also, Evanescence is Christian too, I'm pretty sure.
I think so. It's Evanescence or Flyleaf, or both.
No, both. Flyleaf, definitely.
Oh man.
Those are throwbacks.
Really funny how so many of those bands have these songs that when I was like younger, I'd be like, oh, this is such a profound love song. And then you'd find out that it was a Christian band. And it's like, oh, you weren't singing about girls. You were singing about God. True. Now I'm a little disappointed.
Dude, there was a huge Christian metal post-hardcore scene in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, of all places.
I think New Hampshire used to have a festival.
Yeah, they did. Like 10 years ago.
It was a huge thing. A bunch of the kids that I did Boy Scouts with used to go to that thing.
But going off the rails here, Dorchester Brewing Company. Check it out at your local Packy.
On a scale from,
I assume it's
on a scale from 1 to a fine Pilsner. How fine is this Pilsner?
I mean, it's a pretty fine Pilsner. I mean, Miller Lite it's only good because it's the only reason Miller Lite is such a good, fine Pilsner is because it is probably the easiest chugging beer of all time.
Of all time is kind of a hot take, because I feel like most people would tell you that it's Bud Light, but that stuff is swill, and I've had it like 4 times in my life.
Well, I'm here to make hot takes, and it's Miller Lite.
True. I respect the ambition.
What are you drinking, some Kim Crawford again?
I am drinking Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc because I was in the mood for wine and it was on sale at my grocery store. So I got a bottle and now I'm drinking some of that bottle to make up for this work week, which is only 2 days old and has already broken me.
I feel that. Yeah, that's how I feel because at the grocery store I work, we were, I was working right before the snowstorm, and for whatever reason, everyone and their mother goes to the grocery store like the day before the storm. Like there was a line wrapped around the store of people outside waiting.
Do you have bread and milk stocked?
No, it's gluten-free bread, artisan something or other, and oat milk.
Oh man. Yeah, we get the same thing down here in Nashville, but it's 10 times funnier and also 10 times more infuriating because we get snow for like 2 hours at a time and it never sticks. But somebody hears snow in the forecast for Nashville and it's like, we have to go get bread and milk. Like, okay, but what about, batteries, candles?
Well, you want to, like, the messed up thing about it, like people shopping at the grocery store before a snowstorm, it's always things they don't, like if your power goes out, you're screwed. You can't cook these items. They get like frozen pizzas and like frozen dumplings and just cold cuts and like that kind of stuff that you have to, I mean, with cold cuts at least, you can just take it out and eat it. But a frozen pizza, you have to warm it up. You're kind of stuck there.
Having spent, oh God, how old am I now? I'm 25. Been working since so I'm close to having worked half of my life in various like customer service kind of roles. And it's funny because it's stupid that this is what these people do, but it's not surprising.
No, it's not.
Like this is, it's not surprising at all. It's just, it is pure unadulterated stupidity. And I guess if you can't laugh at it, you're just going to cry. So go get your bread and milk the same way that at right around this time last year, everybody was buying toilet paper. So we don't learn. It's great.
That is true. Yesterday I was like on Facebook and one of the news things that I follow was like, this is the 1 year anniversary of COVID hitting Massachusetts. And I was like, oh, happy 1 year anniversary. Oh my God, what should we do?
Happy 1 year anniversary. What should we do to celebrate? Sleep.
Absolutely nothing. Stay home.
Yep, it is. It's still here. It's still happening.
Yes. Let's get right into the Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford trade.
Right into?
Let's get right into
20
it.
minutes of recording later. Let's get into it.
Hey, why not?
Hey, man. We are bullshit artists of the highest order. We can talk about anything.
That is true. So Rams send 2 first-round picks, a 3rd-round pick, and Jared Goff for Matthew Stafford from the Detroit Lions. What are we thinking here?
I don't get it.
What don't you get about it?
How old is Matthew Stafford?
He is 32.
Maybe it's just because he's played with the Lions for so long and the Lions have been so terrible for so long, but it just doesn't strike me as worth it. Like that's a lot.
What, for the Rams?
Yeah, that's a lot of confidence to put into a guy that hasn't actually done all that much. And like, I forget who showed me the breakdown of like draft picks and stuff for LA, but they're basically they just keep leveraging all these first round picks and everything and making these big trades and these big manipulations to their team.
Right.
But like cap hits and everything else, this team is, I mean, they're good. They're competitors. They completely steamrolled us. Like the Rams are a great team, but that's a lot of capital to give up so that you can give yourself a 2-year window to get back to the Super Bowl and actually win it this time. Like, is Matthew Stafford really the guy to do that?
I think at first glance, I thought that. But if you really think about it, the NFL draft is kind of a crapshoot. You don't know who you're going to get with the first round picks. You're hoping that they turn out good and they end up being a star and big part of your Super Bowl team. But how do you even know? Matthew Stafford, sure, he has not had a lot of success throughout his career, but he's only had a top 10 defense once. He's never had a 1,000-yard rusher behind him. He had Calvin Johnson retire in his prime, which, do you blame him for the way that Detroit is? I don't blame anyone retiring early from the Detroit Lions. He's never had a particularly great offensive line. I think the Los Angeles Rams are clearly a better team. They have a good defense with Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, and they have a good mix of running backs and wide receivers. Cooper Kupp, excuse me.
Or Cup.
He's a good wide receiver. Robert Woods is also a very good option that's very underrated within the league. And you have Tyler Higbee, who's a good option at tight end. So I think it's good for both sides, considering the Detroit Lions are a rebuilding team. And maybe Jared Goff can be the guy for them.
Well, I think I'm still kind of the same mind about Detroit, and I haven't spent a lot of time watching Detroit, obviously. So in the end, what do I know? But
right,
Goff's been to a Super Bowl, and he's been under center for some really good Rams teams. So at first glance, it does kind of feel like LA got a little fleeced. They're gonna
yeah. I think there were some rumors and some grumblings that Jared Goff and Sean McVay weren't seeing eye to eye and didn't want to work with each other anymore.
McVay threw him under the bus. I forget.
Yeah.
The end of the season, I forget who they played, but they had a pretty brutal loss. And again, it's especially funny considering all of the hype and all of the noise around, Brady and Belichick and Bruce Arians and Gronk, and the media has made that seem like kind of a mud fest, as opposed to Sean McVay, who went out during that interview and basically threw Jared Goff under the bus, kicked the bus driver out the window, took the wheel, and then backed up and went forward, and backed up and went forward. all in the space of 4 minutes. It was oh man, this is at least who's the guy from Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
At least Kyle Shanahan had the courtesy to both of the quarterbacks that I've been paying attention to him with, Matty Ice and Jimmy Garoppolo. At least Kyle Shanahan has gone out and been that's our quarterback and it's the team and it's blah 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 blah, NFL head coach kind of stuff.
Yeah, didn't Sean McVay say he's a quarterback or something to that effect?
Yeah, he was pretty brutal about it. He's a quarterback for now.
Oh man.
That was I remember seeing a couple of things on Facebook and stuff, some articles of people that were what just happened?
He's not their guy anymore.
Nope.
And I mean, Jared Goff has a lot to prove next year, I would say, if he wants to continue to be a starting quarterback in the league. I mean, he's still young. You can still get some good years out of him. At least he would be a good bridge quarterback if Detroit wants to find their guy eventually. Maybe not in this draft, but a few years down the line.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And I mean, the Rams needed to offload that terrible contract Jared Goff was on. I mean, he had the most guaranteed money. They needed to get off of that and fill up maybe some of the other positions in the team.
They needed to avoid becoming the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, that team is going to be so bad in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a shame, though. No, it's not. Ugh. But there was one rumor that Matthew Stafford, because he had a no trade clause, I think, on his contract, he got wind that the Lions were talking to the Patriots. He was nope, not that team. Anyone but the Patriots.
And who would have been shocked from hearing that? I mean, the Patriots rehire Matt Patricia, granted not in a coaching role.
Didn't I say that last week? Why would didn't I say something last week along the lines of Matthew Stafford probably won't be a Patriot because of Matt Patricia or something like that?
Yeah, and I mean, again, who can blame him? As much as Matt Patricia is I still kind of feel like he's a little bit of an impressive figure. I mean, NASA scientist turned defensive coordinator. Like I've got a certain amount of respect for the guy in his coaching positions, but he was objectively horrible as the head coach of the Detroit Lions.
I mean, he was trying to be the New England Patriots without any of like the thing about Bill Belichick, and he can command that kind of respect because he has results. Matt Patricia, he hasn't proven anything, and like trying to instill the Patriot way, that's not going to work in Detroit.
Belichick also even besides results. I mean, Belichick is the general manager and head coach. He has, for the most part, an ownership team that seems to just put 110% of their trust into him. He has historically had really, talented players around him and has had a knack for, we've talked about it before. He revives careers that people thought were dead. He has an ability to, find talent, not in the most conventional ways.
Right.
Like he's got a history, and he is the Patriot way. And yeah, Matt Patricia did not have that kind of ability. And the last time I paid attention to him was when we played the Rams in the Super Bowl. And that was here's my hot take for this week. That might be one of my favorite. I think 28-3 is. I mean, that kind of has to be the god tier, like the number one greatest Super Bowl I've ever watched. But the one against the Rams
that
was
you can remember.
That I remember, yeah. Well, as far as Patriots wins go, but like that Rams Patriots game was just enticing. I loved watching that game, and I love watching highlights from that game because it was just such a ridiculous chess match on both sides of the ball for both teams. Like I got a lot of respect for Sean McVay after that Super Bowl because that was crazy good game planning.
Yeah, it was on both sides too.
Oh my God, just their offensive schemes were really effective, but our defense was kind of better. Our offensive schemes obviously were better than theirs, but their defensive schemes kept us, from doing anything until that big old Gronk catch.
Right. My hot take about that game, and you're going to hate this, Julian Edelman should not have gotten the Super Bowl MVP. Stephon Gilmore should have gotten it.
I'm not mad at that. I think that there's an overrepresentation I can speak.
Yeah, you can.
I think there's an overrepresentation in the league and in the fandom for the offense. And I think that's why Edelman got that. I think he deserved it because he was definitely like one of the most offensively productive players that entire season.
Right.
So it makes sense, and I'm not mad at that choice. But I'm picking up what you're putting down, especially with the way that Super Bowl played out. I mean, without a ridiculous defense, I think the Rams would have steamrolled us. So yeah, Gilmore for MVP for that Super Bowl. If we could do it over, you could probably convince me.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about the trade market.
Let's talk about the trade market because
and I just got a blip that Raiders are expected to field trade calls for Derek Carr this offseason.
The Raiders?
Yeah. I don't expect... So Matthew Stafford got... It was 2 firsts and the 3rd, plus a player on top of it. Let's give like 3 that we think that could do it, and maybe what would actually make it to make that trade.
I don't know.
And like, I mean, let's assume this. Watson's probably out of this race because...
Well, that was going to be my biggest point about this whole kind of segment is if that's what Matt Stafford is going for. I know Belichick said that they were going to be exceptionally aggressive in the offseason, but oh man, I can't see the Patriots leveraging that kind of capital for anybody.
Like, especially since they have so many other holes on the team, and there's no weapons either on top of it. Like, we don't have competent wide receivers. We don't have... I mean, I think our defense is mostly good. It's good for the most part, but there are some pieces I would personally want to upgrade. I think our linebacking core needs upgrading. I think also edge. I think we need to get to the quarterback some more. than what we have been.
We need really good edges, especially considering the fact that I'm going to say it, whatever, especially considering the fact that we're in a conference with the baby goat. Like we need somebody that can get to him.
Yeah, we do. What do you think it would take to get Matt Ryan? Not that we're pushing for Matt Ryan, but that is also a possibility. I think Matt Ryan is a little too old for me with being 36.
A little too old, and he just chokes too much.
Right.
I have little interest in that, and also he looks like Peyton Manning Jr. I've seen enough. Peyton Manning was more than enough forehead for my entire life. I don't need Matt Ryan to come in where I have to look at that more.
There's
fair. Something about those helmets that just squeeze the head in.
Like, I think at the very least, we would have to give up 2 first-rounders and Stephon Gilmore to try to get any kind of quarterback. And that's just starting off the conversation.
Yeah, that's just to get a quarterback. And that feels like a ton to give up to get just a quarterback when we have so many other needs.
But again, like, my whole thing with Belichick hasn't had a good track record of first-round picks in the last couple of years. I mean, Sony Michel probably should not have been a first-round pick, because when I think drafting a running back in the first round, I'm thinking you're getting a feature back. Someone who's going to be rushing the ball every single down for you. Sony Michel is not that. I think Sony Michel is good, but he's not that guy. I think Isaiah Wynn, he's been great, just a little bit injury prone, but like I think he's been overall solid throughout his Patriots career. N'Keal Harry has not worked out so far.
All. We're in what, year 2, year 3? We're heading into year 3 of N'Keal Harry. I've seen him catch a ball 4 times.
Right. And I mean, if we're looking at those picks, Belichick has been able to get some of those late round gems, or like those day 2 stars. Chase Winovich. We were able to get Michael Onwenu, who's been solid on our offensive line. He was actually voted one of the best offensive linemen this year. Very competent as a rookie. And I think he was drafted in like the 6th round.
I just don't know. I don't know what I'd be willing to give up. It depends on who we're giving it up for. Matt Ryan, I mean, he's more proven, I would argue, than Matt Stafford. And if that's what Matt Stafford's rate is going to be, man, trading for a quarterback in that kind of market is not really feasible based on previous Patriots off seasons.
I mean, either way, I look at if we want to be objective here, we can't be attached to any of our draft picks.
Yeah.
Either this year or next year, because no matter which way you slice it, whether we go through the draft or we go out and trade for a veteran, we have to give up something. We have to give up serious compensation.
Yeah, and that's an interesting discussion when you're talking about somebody who's as talented and as kind of proven as someone like Deshaun Watson. But now we're at the point where that just looks less and less feasible without admitting that we're probably going to be terrible again this year. Like, it'd be great to have, a superstar under center, but then you start actually looking at the season and the other holes on the roster and you go, is it really worth it to spend all of that capital to get this guy and then have to wait, probably conservatively another 2 years before we're actually like the level that Patriots fans expect? Like, that's a tough bargain. It's one that I'll admit, like, I'm confident in that idea. I'm just not sure. Not sure how much. I'm not sure if we can afford to do the 2 years of true, like, reloading and rebuilding that would be required from a blockbuster trade like that without fans showing up with, tiki torches and pitchforks outside of one Patriot place.
I mean, Patriots fans have to, us included, we have to expect either we're going to be pretty bad next season with not a good quarterback, or we're going to have to give up a lot to make it work. I mean, like, whether it's J.C. Jackson or Stephon Gilmore. If I had to pick one or the other, I'd pick Stephon Gilmore just because older.
Yeah.
And he is considered one of the best corners in the game. I think J.C. Jackson still has room to grow into being a great corner.
If J.C. Jackson has a year even just a tiny bit better than the year he had this year, then yeah, then he becomes a real asset with regards to like trades and stuff like that. But Gilmore, yeah, I'm not mad if we deal away Gilmore if we get something good in return this offseason. It's just
What about Kirk Cousins? Because I heard the 49ers are looking to try to acquire him, but I mean maybe the Patriots will look towards that option as well.
Kirk Cousins, I don't know enough about him to speak on him with any authority, but in my mind, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Jimmy Garoppolo are all kind of on the same tier. And the only
Ryan Fitzpatrick, you put Ryan Fitzpatrick in that.
I don't watch a lot of the Vikings, so I don't know, but I feel like Kirk Cousins is a little bit of a joke.
I would put him in the tier below Matthew Stafford. I think he's competent. I don't think he's a superstar.
You think Matt Stafford is a superstar?
Not quite to that extent. I would say he is in a top 10 list of quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he falls on number 10.
I guess I just don't know enough to, say definitively, but he feels like for whatever reason, Matt Stafford he has that same kind of like, I don't know what the right word to use, maybe like journeyman kind of quality to him. I feel like he's, I mean, obviously because of this trade, he's hyped and somebody believes in him, but I don't know. I'm not on the hype train.
Well, what about Jimmy Garoppolo?
I'm not sure that I buy into the argument about Jimmy G that like, oh, well, he already knows the Patriot system and he knows how things work in Foxborough and wouldn't it be great to have him back? I was a card-carrying member of the Jimmy G fan club when he was still under Brady.
Right.
And, his first year where he actually got through an entire season as a starter, he went to the Super Bowl. So there's something to be said for that. But he's injury prone and there were a lot of arguments being made leading up to that Super Bowl that Shanahan was kind of taking the ball out of his hands and having him run it a lot, and he was in much more of a game manager like role, which I mean every quarterback that's ever been to the Super Bowl I feel like has had that argument lobbed against them at some point.
Right, for sure.
With the exception of Patrick Mahomes, who just, he can do no wrong in anybody's eyes ever, except for mine, because I hate you, Kansas City, almost as much as I hate the Titans.
You're just biased against Patrick Mahomes, man.
I think the record shows that I have a great appreciation for Patrick Mahomes as a player and as a person. It's his team that I dislike.
I mean,
and the fact that his head coach is one bad barbecue.
Looks like a walrus.
He's one bad barbecue sandwich away from coronary embolism or whatever.
I mean, now you know how it feels outside of the Patriots world, how people felt about the Patriots for so many years.
See, well, kind of. I would argue that I feel that way more about Tampa Bay than anything else.
I mean,
because now of course, I still have so much. I still have so much love for the GOAT, but now I do kind of get it. Like Tampa Bay's going to the Super Bowl, and you sit back and you're like, of fucking course, Tom Brady's going to the Super Bowl.
I want to know the real Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans before Tom Brady showed up, and how many people who are Patriots fans jumped ship when Tom left.
I get the sense that there's a whole lot more bandwagon fans than there are dedicated fans. But knowing the history, the history of the Boston Red Sox, I know that there is probably a small but very vocal group of Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans that have been there since day one and are just relishing the fact that their team is this good.
I mean, hey, good for them. And I think this is probably a good as any segue to go into Super Bowl predictions.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of gave mine last episode, so I'll let you kind of go in on it real quick. And also, I finally finished my glass of wine after an hour, so I'm going to go refill a little bit. So you vamp for a minute and tell the people what you think about. Well, not what you think about in general, what you think about the Super Bowl. I don't think anybody wants to dive into the recesses of your mind.
All right. So overall, with the Super Bowl, I'm going to go bit by bit. I'm going to do the game last, but I'm going to talk about commercials as well as the halftime performance.
I'm glad that I finished my errand in time for this. You're going to go over commercials.
Yes, because I swear to
go on.
Effing God. I swear to effing God, if I
When did you become a prude? We used to swear all the time on this podcast, and now I feel like you're making me look bad.
You know what? I swear to fucking God.
There we go.
If I see one, because I know your parents listen to this, so
Mom, Dad, I'm sorry.
Sorry. I swear to God, if I see one commercial COVID related about how much your company fucking cares, give me a break. Stop it right there. No.
I have
cut the bullshit.
I have made it perfectly clear that I am no fan of any Budweiser products, really. Anheuser-Busch as a whole, they got a lot of beers. They're good. But Budweiser themselves, the only positive thing I can say about Bud Heavy, Bud Light, Bud anything, the only positive...
By the way, don't sponsor this podcast. We don't want to hear it. Don't bother hitting us up. DHMU.
Unless you want to give us like straight money, we'll endorse your product. I'll sell out for Budweiser dollars. I'm not above it.
Dude, you're such a sellout.
I know.
Anyways.
I'm giving up punk points.
Anyway. Yeah, you are.
To wit, if I see that, I agree. I'm over it. I don't want to hear about how much multinational giant conglomerate corporation is caring for their communities in the wake of COVID relief, and we have to be together separately. And one day we'll all get back to cut the bullshit in general.
Yeah.
But if I see one of those commercials and they bring in the Budweiser Clydesdales, which are one of my favorite marketing tools of all time, I love the Budweiser Clydesdales. I don't know why. I don't like horses.
Those are always good. I have
never given a damn about horses. I don't care, but I love those Budweiser Clydesdales. And if there's some sort of COVID...
You're not a horse girl?
I am not. But if there's some sort of COVID-related bullshit and they bring in the Budweiser Clydesdales, I'm done. I'm going to their headquarters. I'm picketing. I'm going to lie in my bed and pretend to be angry about it for 30 minutes and then forget it ever happened. But still, no.
Like, imagine a Doritos commercial that's, like, connected, trying to do COVID-related stuff.
Imagine a Doritos commercial without Post Malone.
I mean,
we are truly
Post Malone.
We are in a Post Malone.
I'm not even a Post Malone fan, but Post Malone kind of makes everything better.
He is kind of a marketing genius. We should get into that. That might be a future episode. We might just do a deep dive on Post Malone as a whole because, in the music space, I find him incredibly interesting. But anyway, did you have additional thoughts about the commercials before I went on a tirade defending a corporate icon?
That's my only thing. I hope to God I don't see one of those commercials because they're so cheesy and corny and we're all over it and we don't care.
I 100% agree.
Also better not see a Robin Hood commercial either. And let's talk about the halftime show at the weekend. I bet it's going to be as empty as every other show that's ever happened. It's just going. Have you ever gone to a show and you feel empty, even if in a big room full of people?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
twice in my life.
And I better not hear the y'all ready? Super Bowl, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then the fake cheering. That's going to be this Super Bowl is going to be interesting in how what's going to happen outside of it all.
What do you think about The Weeknd himself as a halftime performer?
Honestly, I think he's great. He's not controversial except for when he decides to go to COVID's spreading parties. That's one I have an issue. But besides that, I don't think he's bad. I think he's going to be entertaining, and I don't think he is totally out of the realm of when I think of Super Bowl performers, I think of everyone's going to be watching it. So little kids, people my age, as well as people my parents' age and older. And are they going to enjoy it? I think they're going to enjoy the weekend. I think they're going to think he's okay, tolerable.
I'm actually really impressed with the decision for the first time in a while.
I think it's progressive for sure.
I think I think for one, like obviously The Weeknd is like chart topping artist. Like people were up in arms about the fact that he wasn't Grammy nominated. Like he's big, he's huge, he's pop music with a capital P.
Right.
But he's different in a way. I mean, for one, like he's really leaned into the whole like 80s inspired synth pop kind of deal, which is right up my alley as far as pop music goes. But especially in the past probably 15 years, the Super Bowl halftime show has been all about the guest stars. Like who else shows up and is like the surprise, extra feature.
Right.
To the point where
is there going to be guest stars?
I would be shocked if there wasn't. I mean, the last time that there wasn't really like a guest star, or at least the last time that I can remember that there wasn't like a big guest star, was Justin Timberlake, and that was a severely underwhelming performance.
It just looked like at one point I remember it looked like he was playing like a basement show.
Yeah, right at the beginning. He was like
right at the beginning, it just looked like he was playing a basement show, but
like the weirdest, bougiest, like ridiculous basement show ever.
Like a basement show like neither of us would ever go to.
Like a basement rave kind of deal. Yeah, but like Justin Timberlake's a fantastic performer, and he's got some just certified hits. Mm-hmm. But like there was nobody else. Like his kind of special guest performer, because they played that Super Bowl in Minnesota, was like a giant silhouette of Prince behind him, and it was
I think that kind of stuff is kind of corny.
That's super corny. But the point that I'm trying to make is that like whenever there are guest performers, not whenever there are, but like oftentimes when there are guest performers, they kind of knock it out of the park and kind of bring that whole production to the next level. And the best example of that, we've probably talked about it on the podcast, but I know we talk about it all the time whenever we talk football with anybody else. The Coldplay halftime show. Oh,
that was so bad.
The Coldplay halftime show was terrible, except for the fact that Beyonce and Bruno Mars were insanely good.
That is true.
To the point where people talk about that show, and you and I have both done it, where we sat back and gone, wait, Beyonce and Bruno Mars didn't headline the halftime show. Who played that?
I miss the days when like one of my favorite halftime performances were like it was like a mix of a lot of people, but I remember like Aerosmith, like Christina Aguilera, and like a bunch of other people were playing it.
Aerosmith. I think it was Aerosmith, Britney Spears, NSYNC, Missy Elliott.
Oh, okay. I got it wrong, but
that is an insane.
That's one of the best ones I've seen.
That's an insane. That's one of the best show.
Ones. Yeah. Wasn't that like, what was it, 2002?
I believe it was 2002, because I think that had to be 2003, because I think the 2002 Super Bowl was the 2001-2002 season, and I'm pretty sure that's when U2 played, and they had the list of all the names from 9/11 behind them.
Yeah. Like, because 2000, the first Patriots Super Bowl, that was U2. Yeah. And then I think the first Super Bowl that they faced the Eagles, that was just Paul McCartney, because they were like, we don't want to cause any controversy from the year before with like Janet Jackson and that whole debacle.
I feel like that was later. I feel like that was a Patriots Super Bowl, but I don't think that was
a Patriots Super Bowl, but like later. I don't know. We're going off on a tangent.
Well, anyway, I feel like The Weeknd, of all the like top tier, like I said, pop with a capital P performers that they could have selected, like he has the ability, and it might not be somebody that I'm totally into.
Right.
It might not be something that we're like big into, but like The Weeknd plus somebody has the potential to be really cool as like, not necessarily as a show. Like the music nerd in me is probably going to roll my eyes a little bit. Like when last year it was Shakira, J-Lo, and then they had like J Balvin or whoever, and it was like, okay.
Right.
But
oh
my God, The Weeknd and Post Malone. Now that I think about it, that would be insane.
What about like Ariana Grande?
That would be another big one. And again, not like entirely up my alley, but I would actually really, really, from an entertainment standpoint, I'd buy into that. The Weeknd with an Ariana Grande feature. Like I just said, Post Malone. That would, if it was The Weeknd and Post Malone, that has the potential to be a really, really great Super Bowl halftime show.
Or what about I don't think Drake would do it.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I think Yeah, I don't know, but my prediction is guest star Ariana Grande. I'm just putting that out into the world.
Okay.
I just thought of that right now, but like I think that would be a very entertaining halftime show. I am very stoked at the idea that there are no Super Bowl parties this year because there's nothing worse than the people who go to the Super Bowl party and are like, I'm only here to watch the commercials and watch the halftime show and then talk through the whole game.
Yeah.
No, get out.
See,
I don't want you here.
And I hate that on both sides. I don't like the people that show up and go, I'm just here for the Super Bowl, commercials. Like they get
What about the Puppy Bowl?
They get released a week early. I'm surprised that I haven't seen more hype around some sort of big Super Bowl commercial leading up to this week. So go away with that. But the flip side of that is also I hate the people that show up and they're not watching the game and they don't care about the commercials. The Super Bowl is like the Super Bowl is like going to the movies. You show up and you take in the entire thing, and like obviously great plays, there's supposed to be chit chat, but like you need to be paying attention to the entire thing or you're not getting the experience. So go and shut up.
I love the Super Bowl. I could argue I like it more than Christmas because there's no pressure on getting gifts. You're just making a shit ton of food, good food that's totally unhealthy for you. You're just
absolutely
watching football and drinking beer, and it's beautiful.
And I do miss Super Bowl. I say I miss Super Bowl parties, but I haven't been to any particularly great Super Bowl parties. Both of my best Super Bowl memories are from college.
Shout out to Andy Esborn, friend of the podcast.
Indeed.
He had a great Super Bowl party against the Falcons. It was the Patriots versus the Falcons. That was a great one. Great spread. That was awesome.
Way too much alcohol.
But that's fine.
Frozen margaritas, and somebody may have had almost an entire 12-pack of Sam Adams in 1 4-hour period. We don't know who.
To give a hint, it wasn't me. As Shaggy says, wasn't me.
I'm pleading the fifth. But that was a magical Super. That was probably the best case scenario for Super Bowl parties. And then the second best one behind that was our freshman year, watching it in our suite with our suite mates, all of whom
getting Chinese.
We all got Chinese food. We all watched it. Dan and I flipped a chair over when we thought we had lost, and then we realized that Malcolm Butler had made that interception. And we grabbed your Super Bowl blanket and started running across campus.
Yes, very magical. Now we're into the game aspect of this. Obviously, I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think the offenses are going to be as high flying as they have been. I think Buccaneers are going to shut out Patrick Mahomes and get to him with Ndamukong Suh and also JPP. And I think the same thing with Kansas City getting to Tom Brady, Chris Jones, and I'm blanking on the other edge defender that they have. But I think it's going to be a close game. Final score, 24-21, and I'm giving the edge to the Chiefs.
24-21 Chiefs. That's your
24-21 Chiefs.
My line was 28-24 Chiefs. And I have a much more cynical take. I think you never underestimate Tom Brady in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a little bit of a mud fest. I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth. I do think it's probably the Chiefs in reality. I'm not a betting man, so I am hedging my bets a little bit, but I think it could.
Man, I guess you didn't buy GameStop stock then.
That entire thing just, oh man, I had to put my phone down.
Hey, I made money.
Did you really?
Not off GameStop, but like another stock that Reddit did or boosted.
Oh man, we can get into all of that at some point. But, oh man, that entire thing was just outrage culture at its worst. No, I think what I was gonna say is it could just as easily get flipped.
Right.
I think the final score is 28-24. In reality, I think it's 28-24 Chiefs, but I could also very, very easily see it turning around and being Tampa Bay. Just I think the one thing that I can say for Tom Brady himself, but also the Tampa Bay team, is that just durability is insane. Their ability to play at a high level for the entire 4 quarters. Like there have been times this season and they've kind of pulled it out, and this is what they've kind of built their brand on since Patrick Mahomes has become their quarterback. Kansas City can play at a high level, and arguably they actually play better when they are behind.
I would agree with that. And I mean, Kansas City, I think for the most part this year, there's been a couple instances where they were just not good. They were kind of not really pulling their weight, and then all of a sudden they just flip a switch and turn it on.
The oh shit button gets hit and they kind of kick it into high gear.
Right.
But like the thing is that you watch that team, and there have been multiple times over multiple years where they've had to hit the oh shit button and then they pull it out. But there have been times where you do look at them and you're like, man, that team is tired. That team is sluggish right now. They played 3 quarters of their best football, and now they are spent. And you don't really get that from Tampa Bay. There are games where they do not look good, and they're making mistakes, and they're rough around the edges, and there's a lot going on, and there's flags getting called on 4 out of 5 plays and stuff like that. But they never look tired. They just look unorganized, and I'm not sure which is worse, being tired or being unorganized.
I think looking unorganized is probably worse. If I had to...
Well, especially in the Super Bowl, I would argue, yeah.
Right.
But in a Super Bowl with Tom Brady and with a team that's very hot right now versus, the defending champions who always seem to be able to pull these wins out of their ass, those two seem to even out. And I think you're right on the money. Edge Kansas City, because I think they have just shown themselves to be consistently the better football team than everybody all the time. But
right.
A slightly unorganized but highly energetic team with Tom Brady as your leader, you could do it. You could easily do it. I think they could squeak by. But in my heart of hearts, yeah, I think we're going to be watching Kansas City win this again, and I'm going to have to mute Kansas City from all social media for like 5 months and let them calm down.
True.
Because the one thing I can say about Kansas City over Philadelphia is that they are, at least they're putting in the work, as opposed to Philadelphia, where I'm still watching Philadelphia Eagles fans all over social media talking about their count them 1 Super Bowl.
All on one hand. I'm trying to think. I had one point. I forgot what I was going to say.
Something about unorganized teams, Tampa Bay, Kansas City.
Yes.
Was it something about the Super Bowl? Just taking a guess here.
Wow, you're kind of a smartass, huh?
I'm so insightful.
You're so insightful. I love your kind of analysis here.
Because I'm a Scorpio. I just see deeper.
And you're just an asshole.
This undeniable fact. I don't know how I got raised to be such a smartass, but I think for the second time this episode, it's an audio format, but I think we have to turn to the screen in a Jim Halpert fashion and look at Joe and Beth La Gambina and go, I'm sorry.
I think, all right, who do you think has the potential of being the Super Bowl MVP? On either side, because we think it's a toss-up no matter what. And also, now I just thought of my point that I was trying to make. I think I'm so excited for the Super Bowl because I think it's the best quarterback matchup we have seen since, I would say arguably since Joe Montana versus the Dan Marino back in the 80s. That's why I'm so excited about this, and I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to watch every single snap, and I can't wait. And I'm so glad I'm not going to be at a Super Bowl party for any of this and people talking through the whole game.
Precisely. I'm going to be sitting here alone. I'm going to figure out a way to do mood lighting with my new smart lights. And you and I may have to figure out maybe a live stream on Instagram.
Yeah, maybe at some point.
Give our hot takes while we're both sitting there drinking something and either infuriated or joyous over watching our boy Tom Brady.
I mean, obviously we want him to win, but I think Kansas City is just a better team.
Yeah, this is true.
Andy Reid does have a history of choking, so maybe Andy Reid does choke again.
Andy Reid's all about time. If he doesn't have time on the clock, absolutely he does choke. And from literally his first year starting games with the Patriots, Tom Brady has shown nothing if not an ability to manipulate the clock, which is why I hesitate to make like a hard and fast like it's going to be Kansas City or it's going to be Tampa Bay. Like it's been a literal toss up every time a Tom Brady led team has gone against an Andy Reid led team. It's
right. I mean, Kansas City would have been in 3 straight Super Bowls if they didn't go off sides.
Yep.
If they didn't go off sides, they would have been in the Super Bowl.
Not wrong. But you raised an interesting question a minute ago. Super Bowl MVP. Got to pick one from each side.
Yes.
For some reason, and again, what do I know? I'm trying to be an audio engineer. I'm a music guy. I've only recently become like a diehard football fanatic. I've never been.
Sure.
Only in this back half of my life have I become, a true sports fan.
You're like that Hard Times article where it's like quarter life crisis got like hardcore kid like turns to like liking hockey, but yours like this time it's football.
Now that you've mentioned it, shout out to the Bruins. 5 unanswered goals last night. We're recording this on Tuesday. Shout out to the Bruins, 5 unanswered goals against the Capitals. That was a sublime 15 minutes of hockey. I loved every second of that. Anyway, for some reason, now that I've gotten the point across that I know nothing when it comes to sports, which is funny because this has been such a sports-centered podcast.
Yes.
For some reason, the tight ends come to mind. I feel like we established. This is an offense-centric league in so many ways, and they love to reward the offensive players. I think the obvious choice, if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the Super Bowl on Sunday, I think the obvious choice is Tom Brady, because, I mean, what a freaking story. This guy is established as the face of Patriot Nation. He is established already years before as the greatest of all time, the greatest player to ever play this game, and maybe any other organized sports game. And then he goes to a different franchise. He doesn't have a preseason. He has all these things. He has all these setbacks, going into the season, and Tampa Bay looked rough for the first half of this season.
Yeah, for sure.
For him to go to a different team and then win the Super Bowl with this team the first year, it's pretty obvious that if Tampa Bay wins, it's probably going to be Brady as MVP. But still, for some reason, I have a feeling that this is also going to be such an offensive game, and it's going to be such an offensive slugfest.
Yes.
I wouldn't...
Give me 1 second.
I'll just keep vamping while you leave. I do have a feeling that this is going to be a really... I do feel that considering the fact that this is going to be such an offensive-minded game, that maybe we see Travis Kelce and Gronk just really go for it. And it would be kind of funny to see Gronk win MVP for some sort of heroic, just came out of retirement kind of madness. I don't think that's actually reasonable, but it would be interesting to see a kind of comeback in that way. And
he would dent it no matter what.
Oh, he would dent another Lombardi trophy. You know what? Actually, if he dented another Lombardi trophy for a team other than the Patriots, I think I would actually be kind of mad. That was such a like flash in the pan for any Boston sports fan. If that happened again, it would really feel kind of cheesy and stupid.
I don't think he would.
I don't think he would either, but if he did, I would probably in all honesty, I would probably be kind of mad about it. So, yeah, Tom Brady, maybe Gronk if Tampa Bay wins. Tom Brady, obviously, if Tampa Bay wins. Gronk, if he has some sort of superhuman game, which I think based on some of the flashes that he's had this season and the fact that there seems to be a real concerted effort to keep him healthy, if he really just kind of went all out this game and became like a game-changing kind of figure the way that he was in that Super Bowl against the Rams with the Patriots, I could see it. As far as Kansas City goes, again, I'm left with quarterback and tight end. I mean, they're going to have Tyreek Hill double covered the entire time, and that's going to make it really difficult for him to do any kind of super heroic thing. Travis Kelce has been baby Gronk, so like if he has some sort of superhuman game, which he has had every other game this season. I could see him getting MVP, but I could also easily see them turn around and be like, back-to-back Super Bowls, the kid's the baby GOAT, here's an MVP award to Patrick Mahomes. Like,
I mean, only if he plays well, though.
yeah, which, I mean, again, I don't doubt he will. And I think that's probably going to be the biggest hurdle that Tampa Bay has to go through for the entire Super Bowl, is that I think Patrick Mahomes is just going to go out and he's going to play his ass off. And here's another hot take. I wouldn't be surprised to watch Patrick Mahomes get injured again in the Super Bowl.
I mean, obviously, you hope he doesn't.
Yeah, again, not wishing ill on anybody. I want to see the best game that I can, and the best game that I can see is going to happen if Patrick Mahomes is playing. But I also, in reality, and as unbiased as I can be, I wouldn't be surprised to watch him get injured again. And selfishly, it would be a really funny narrative to watch Patrick Mahomes go to back-to-back Super Bowls and then spend an entire offseason with people kind of sitting back and being like, does he have durability issues?
Oh, man. That's going to be... There's a reason why I've stopped watching a lot of sports talk, because of like stupid narratives like that.
Exactly. But that would be the reality of that situation if he got injured again, and I would not be shocked if he did get injured again. I hope he doesn't, because the best Super Bowl that we can watch has him under center and him playing every snap. But
of course. All right. My predictions. I have 3 for Tampa Bay. Tom Brady, of course, because if they win, I don't know if it's a lock necessarily. I mean, if other players rise to the occasion, I think Tom Brady has a good shot at it, because Tom Brady does play the most important position in sports. I think out of all the weapons for Tom Brady, I wouldn't give it to Gronk. I'd give it to Scotty Miller.
And I think Scotty Miller's a perfectly fine thing, with the same caveat that I gave Gronk. Like, I think Gronk, it would go to another level because Gronk was so quiet for so long. And if he has some sort of superhuman game where he just really kind of goes for it all, that's when I can see that. But the same thing with Scotty Miller, his bar's set a little bit lower. If he has like an insanely productive Super Bowl, yeah, I mean, that's how Edelman got it.
Yeah, and I think he can be certainly productive. My final one is on defense. Shaquille Barrett, edge rusher for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's gotten 8 sacks this year, and last year he was a Pro Bowler. He led the league in sacks with 19.5. I think he is someone to watch for potentially in this game. And if he makes an impactful defensive play, I think there is no question you have to give it to him.
Yeah, if he manages to do what he's capable of doing, and he does it against Patrick Mahomes, yep, I'm buying what you're selling.
Yeah, I think if he's able to, and I mean, like, Patrick Mahomes is very elusive. He is not the easiest person to bring down, but if Shaquille Barrett can get like a couple sacks, maybe a strip fumble, I mean, just like how, for example, Dante Hightower, 28-3, there was probably a real argument he probably could have won Super Bowl MVP of that game, besides Brady and Edelman as well.
Yeah.
Like, those were like the top 3 those were like the first 3 people that I would think of that would deserve that award.
I see it. Yeah.
Now, for Kansas City, obviously Patrick Mahomes, I think you have to respect everything that he's done, and he is the best quarterback in the league, bar none. So I think he can do it. Now, as far as another offensive weapon goes, I would give it to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a big game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Defensively, I mean, it's a mixed group, right? Like, there isn't like a standout person that kind of jumps out at you. I think the only one would be Tyrann Mathieu. And I think if he can get like a pick 6 and break up like a lot of Brady's passes in the secondary, I think he would be a great candidate for Super Bowl MVP. But also Chris Jones and Frank Clark are there as well. But I would think, having to guess it, no surprise here, it would be Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, back-to-back Super Bowls with his kind of athleticism and everything else. Yeah.
we also could be wrong here. Like, we could be dead wrong, and it could be someone who comes out of nowhere and becomes the Super Bowl MVP. And that has happened before.
It has.
Look at Larry Brown from the Cowboys-Steelers Super Bowl back in the 90s. You probably don't know who that is. And yeah, after the Super Bowl, he didn't do anything. Or the Super Bowl MVP of the Seahawks Denver Broncos, I think Malcolm something or other, Malcolm Brown, Malcolm something or other. He didn't do anything after that Super Bowl. Kind of a forgettable guy.
Yeah, I don't know his name, so
you can give any insight on that one. Yeah, that's our Super Bowl predictions. 24-21 Kansas City Chiefs, and you are
28-24. I have to pick, so I'm saying Kansas City, but I'm not shocked if it's 28-24 Tampa Bay.
I also wouldn't be surprised if it was like 21-10 and it like entering halfway through the third quarter and the Chiefs just blast by the Buccaneers.
Oh, I think the first I think the first 2.5 quarters of this game are going to be nonsense. I think the first 2.5 quarters of this game are not going to be indicative of anything.
No. Probably not. I mean, it's all going to come down to the fourth quarter and who has the ball who has the ball in their hands at the last minute.
Yep. It's going to be a slugfest. They're going to be throwing haymakers the entire time. And like you said, and we've been saying it for 2 episodes now, I think this is going to be one of the most interesting Super Bowls anybody's ever watched.
Can't wait.
I'm excited.
All right. We are head towards the end of this show. Let's talk about our recommendations for this week.
I got mine locked and loaded.
Go for it.
My recommendation this week, it's an Instagram account recommendation. And it's funny because we mentioned him already in the podcast. Our friend Andy Esborn, also known as Master Dingo. Dingo has an Instagram account called Dingo's Playback, and I think it's pretty much once a day. Andy is going and putting out songs and clips from like the entirety of his life, and basically just doing like a song a day recommendation of songs that he loves and songs that have influenced him, and he puts little blurbs and stuff. I actually got the chance to write one of the blurbs one week because he and I were talking about Fountains of Wayne after our podcast episode, and we were talking about Valley Winter Song, which I'm on record as saying is one of my favorite songs of all time. It is a great Instagram account, great follow, nice little shot in the arm each day, good songs and stuff. So that is my top tier content from social media. So I would recommend going and following. It's all one word at Dingo's Playback. Good account, good follow.
True. Good account. Oh man, what is my recommendation of this week?
Always one of us that doesn't know what the hell to do at this point in the podcast.
Last week I knew exactly what it was going to be. And
fucking
for
tushy,
those of
man.
you who, tushy, my bidet is magical. That might just be my recommendation again this week.
No, veto. You can't do the same recommendation 2 weeks in a row, especially not for a clean butt. That's not how this works.
Come on, you gotta have a clean butt to do anything. Otherwise, it's shitty.
I hate you.
I can't make the same joke 2 weeks in a row.
I can't laugh at the same joke 2 weeks in a row. I hate that so much.
Man. Recommendations this week. All right. One of my recommendations this week that I've really been into is the Harborough Star Mix. Gummy candies. It has a good mix of everything you want. It has some sour snakes, some gummy Coca-Cola, some gummy cherries, as well as gummy bears and gummy rings. And they are delicious, and I love eating them. Have them at least once a week.
Top tier gas station snack.
Yeah, I would, if we're talking about, they're S tier for sure.
Oh, so good. I love me some gummy bears.
I always do this weird thing where I organize my candy before I consume it. and I always eat the candy I like don't like the least, and then I work up and have like the candy I like the most at the end.
I didn't know that about you, but it's just another reason why you're my best friend, because that's exactly what I do. When I have like a mixed bag of anything, I like methodically work through it.
Like I have to organize it, and I'm like, it's like when I'm at work, and for whatever reason, my coworkers always, I don't know what they do with their cashier, like with their registers, but all the bills are upside down, like the wrong way and everything, and that drives me up a wall.
Oh, dude, that was one of my best time-killing activities. I used to work for Lowe's, the hardware store. Hold for applause. When we'd have like off times or whatever, I would log into all the registers because even my managers wouldn't do it, and I knew that they wouldn't do it. So
my managers don't do it either here.
They would give us like fresh registers at the beginning of the day, and if I was working like an opening shift or something, I would literally log into every computer, open it up, and then just go. And a couple of people tried to talk me out of it because they were like, oh, you're on camera, you're handling the money, that makes you liable to do these certain things. And I was like, yeah, but the bills aren't proper.
No, they're not.
Like
they're supposed to all be facing the same way.
And I don't have like I'm not so retentive that like it has to be facing left or facing right or whatever. But they've all got to be the same way. And they've got to be the same way, like top to bottom.
Yep.
Oh man.
Can't believe we're going on a tangent about this. But anyways, Star Mix, Harborough snacks, gotta have them. And also do my thing and organize them. And guess how I organize them, or like what I eat first and what I eat last.
Whoever guesses correctly wins nothing.
We'll Venmo you for a 6-pack of beer.
Okay.
AJ's looking at me
I'm
like,
okay with that.
Like I'm crazy. Okay. Yeah.
I was gonna say you just get a shout out on the podcast, but it's okay. If you get it correctly, you get a 6-pack of beer.
All right. I think that pretty much wraps up today. Have anything else to say, AJ?
Follow us on it's at Packy Run Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Tell your friends about the podcast. Spread it by word of mouth. The more you tell people to listen, the more people that download it and everything else, the closer we can get to doing this as not just a hobby, but maybe eventually we can bring you content and get paid for it, which is really the millennial dream.
True. But
I'm going to keep buying microphones and stuff anyway, but I mean, if I could get paid to get microphones and interfaces and editing equipment and everything, I'm not mad.
For sure. But we will talk to you next week. Take it easy.
Be safe, be smart, buy some stonks. Bye-bye.